What is up, all you gamers out there? As per usual, welcome back to the weekly Esports Rewind podcast. Today we talk at length about all of the crazy stories, but first and foremost, we always read comments from all of you cool people out there. I hope you have yours.
Always
Hunter.
do. Always prepared.
Because I have mine from a name I can't pronounce. I'm going to call you Sal. Sal says, I imagine you doing a podcast instead of videos, or do both. This would be so good. Sal, we want to break this news to you right now. We actually do videos daily. So feel free to check them out, and we're going to keep on doing the podcast too.
You heard it here first. We do daily.
We do daily.
As of Jake. My comment is from Lucas, who says, my wife hates cherries. First of all, congrats on the wife. But loves Dr. Pepper. LOL. She was not happy when I revealed one of the 23 flavors. I resonate with that. I was just talking about today how Dr. Pepper is barbecue water. So let's get going.
Yeah, we hope you guys all enjoyed. Thank you all for leaving a comment. Despite all of this, we have some crazy stories. Let's hop on into them. Of course, one of the bigger stories this past week that has to be talked about. Can you imagine dressing up as another man and all of a sudden you're not allowed on a platform for an event? Yes, we're talking about Zlaner and dressing up as Dr. Disrespect. Last time we talked about him was just about a week and a half to 2 weeks back. World Series of Warzone. Zlaner shows up on Twitch, as he's known to stream on multiple platforms, and he looks a lot like you. He's streaming on Twitch for the first time, shows up and cosplays Dr. Disrespect, bringing in 30,000+ viewers throughout the World Series of Warzone, the biggest Warzone event of the entire year thus far. And then we find out about a week and a half later, this past week, that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he is ineligible to compete in an upcoming, has already been played, Warzone Twitch event, which is pretty interesting. What Zlaner instantly said, I wonder why I'm not allowed to compete. After my first time on Twitch, I dressed up as someone who is permanently banned.
It looks like I might not be able to be eligible, quote unquote eligible, for tomorrow's Twitch Rivals tournament. I might not be allowed.
You might not be allowed?
Yeah, I wonder if it's maybe the most recent stunt. I actually hope it is.
To me, this feels like, and I might get heat for this, but it feels like Zlaner was a little bit sassy towards Twitch, poked the bear, and then Twitch was a little bit sassy back. They said, okay, you want to poke us, we're going to poke you. It's a little Facebook poke war going on.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I definitely would not say public is in your favor because it seems pretty petty.
Yeah.
And I think Zlaner even admits, like, he knew this is a possibility. I think where I want more so is a clarification, because now it's just confusion. We have a Twitch Rivals community manager going out there and saying you got to be a partner and an affiliate to actually stream in the tournament, although there were others that are partnered on different platforms who also compete in the same event, which means that's kind of a hairy, why would Zlaner not be allowed? And then, of course, the whole line where you have to be on good standing with Twitch to compete, which is very subjective. Who's on good standing, who's not on good standing with Twitch. So you have to imagine that someone up there was not very happy with his cosplay, and so they kick him out of the event. It gets more confusing because the day after, that same manager is saying, I honestly don't know why he was ineligible. I cannot tell you guys why. I don't know why.
I want to know how many people at Twitch know the reason for Doc's ban to begin with, and then all of this stuff that's getting enforced afterwards, like Zlaner, quote unquote, not being able to play. Was this one guy? Is this one dude who like knows everything about Doc and sees Zlaner dressing up as him? He's like, no, he's not allowed to participate in any of our stuff. Or is there just like a general blanket of no one knows or everyone knows what's going on?
Yeah, and could this have been a mishap? Then I wish there was some kind of statement that could be made of, okay, this was obviously a mistake. It was a decision made the day before the event, which really sucks for Z and his teammates who had to find a random replacement that late. There's not going to be many good available names, especially as good as someone like Z. So I wish someone could actually clarify. Was it a mishap? Was it made for a certain reason? Because ever since then, we've actually seen other streamers doing the same thing. Now, does it matter the degree to which you cosplay someone? Because if you just have sunglasses on and you're clearly trying to play the Doc, but Twitch can't bar you for wearing sunglasses. But then we have other people going full suit, full sunglasses, the wig and everything, where it's very obvious. Now you have of course, this with Twitch, the subjective line of
Yeah.
like what actually makes you Doc.
That's probably the scariest part, like you brought up, that it's this subjective on good standing with Twitch, which we don't know what that means. We don't know who's good standing, just Twitch in general, or that one dude like I was talking about. Who is it? I don't know.
Or girl. Could be a girl at Twitch.
Dudette? We don't know.
We have no idea. But either way, Zlaner Bard, we'll see if there's any updates for all of you guys and keep you posted. For now, though, if you are on Twitch, don't dress like the Doc. Twitch issues did continue this past week. I just wanted to get this one quickly out of the way because Twitch Rivals over the past week, not just Warzone, but Twitch in general having issues now with hackers in their tournaments. It was actually back-to-back days. We had participants in events that were also live streaming on Twitch later be found to be cheating in events with prize money. The first of which I would say is probably the one we want to focus on, but both have been caught. Both were banned and taken out of the events, but not before this one in particular, who was called out by FIFA Kill, a Warzone pro and streamer. He was actually a streamer known as Davscar. He was a partner Twitch streamer, cheating in a pretty hefty Twitch Rivals Warzone event. And the entire event at first was not reset, and then the clip surfaced. We have dozens of pros and streamers calling him out for blatant hacks, and eventually, finally, the entire tournament was reset due to one hacker who, by the way, has since been banned on Twitch, was thrown out of the event, threw away everything just to try and hide it.
You have to wonder what was going on in their head to do that, because you're literally throwing away everything. And so in my head, I think, was he paid to do this, or what was happening? Because this is a partner streamer. You're burning all of your bridges with everyone that was in that lobby or in the community because they hate you now. You're one of the people who use hacks. You're getting crapped on Twitter, and you're also losing your partnership on Twitch. It's like, what do you have left? If that's what you were doing full time, even part time, that's probably a large revenue stream that you no longer have.
Hear me out on this, okay? If you're Davscar, which is his name, and you have been maybe cheating a little from time to time, maybe some regular lobbies, you've been dropping in, cheating, you've been doing pretty well, and your stream's been, I mean, this guy actually had, like, I'm pretty sure a decent stream following, nothing huge, but you wake up one day and you make your way somehow, you get the invite to a 75K event. You get the invite and you're like, you know what, I'm probably not good enough to ever have a shot at this big of an event again. Why would I not just turn on my hacks, see what happens, take the risk for a chance at the grand prize?
That makes sense to a degree, but it's also like, man, why not treat it as just networking? You know, like the value of just being there in the lobby with those other people is huge because you make those connections. Maybe you can stream with them, make your stream even bigger, get into more events later on. But instead, I'm going to hack and I'm going to get kicked out of everything for life.
He was a non-native English speaker, so he wasn't going to make too many connections with the bigger. This is a European lobby, so
Okay.
not the big European names. But I mean, I don't know. How, do you wake up one morning and think, "Yep, this is"?
Yeah.
You
Today's the day.
text all your buddies like, "Yeah, this is the day, boys. We're
And it is
rolling out."
no one's gonna question it. Like all of these pros that are in the lobbies and have called out hackers or very much played this game, so they know. And you're in this lobby with them, not a pub, a lobby with pros, and they're gonna catch you. Like they're gonna catch you, and you're streaming it. There's just so much evidence against you that it seems like one of the worst decisions you could have made.
Yeah, it just makes me curious. Has anyone of this caliber in this kind of event, where it's a custom lobby, so they're all streamers, all known names,
Yeah.
all pros, has anyone gotten away with it?
Well, yeah, Symphony.
Oh yeah,
Obviously.
and Z and Mutex
Right,
and
Zlaner,
Aiden.
Well, everyone uses Acronis.
Yeah.
They're just covering for each other, so it makes sense.
I mean, this is a freaking point where we're at, where you can't trust anybody. Certainly can't trust this guy. One hacker who somehow snuck his way into Twitch Rivals, causing the entire event to be reset. That was a couple tournaments ruined this week. We'll see what next week has in store. We got to talk about it, folks. We got to get excited about it. We want to know what you guys' thoughts are about this because, man, gambling on the internet has been around for a long time. It especially surfaced back in the CSGO days. I was around back then. I know full well, and it's kind of funny to see it go full circle. So I definitely have some varying opinions over here. Twitch gambling's been an ongoing debate for quite some time. We have big names out there like XQC, like Trainwrecks, like tons of other big names as well, big YouTubers who have taken their time to gamble on the side as well. And now the gigantic question brought forth by someone like H3H3 in a heated debate. I mean, this was one of the better Twitch streams to watch. I would say probably the best one this past week, as he brings on Hassan as well, and they debate the overall topic. That is gambling on Twitch. What are your thoughts about it? What are your thoughts about it? Because it is a crazy topic. So many angles.
All I know is that stream was one of the most chaotic, ridiculous streams I have ever seen.
I got a love for it. I enjoy gambling. It's what I do on my off time. So now I do it on stream. And I know I've catered to a older audience. And as long as I'm responsible and transparent, which I am, which you've admitted to me being, I do it.
Ultimately, it's content, right? It's good content. When you're losing, you're
It
an
is
underdog.
always a rooted in...
No, it's not about content. It's not about content. I do it regardless. Do you understand? If I was at 1,000 viewers, I'd do it. This is what I do. Why are we pretending like this
I did it for the
thing
content
happened?
element to it.
I've been gambling since the beginning.
No,
Do you
I think
understand?
it's content.
Sorry.
Everyone's just screaming at each other and like trying to talk at the same time and like, what's going on?
Guys, what are we doing?
And so hilarious clips. The whole thing was just quite the show. Entertainment value, very big.
Through the roof.
I don't know if they actually came to any sort of conclusion or anything helpful, but if you don't know, H3, people have problems with him to begin with. People will call him out for how this is kind of controversial or hypocritical for him to like call things out. But he is speedrunning Twitch at this point because he starts up, immediately talks to Aiden Ross about this stuff, gambling, a big topic, talks to Trainwrecks and XQC and Hassan about it, Ms. Kiff, and is just like skyrocketing on viewership. Very, very good decision on his part. But as far as gambling goes, I don't think they came to any conclusion. They all have their own sides, but I don't think they like decided on anything.
And I think you had described where each person falls, at least when it comes to those four. They also debated Aiden Ross compared to Trainwrecks and XQC. I think for me, and again, there's so many points to touch on. There's not a wrong or right side here. Right. There's so many opinions as well. For me, one of the main points was XQC and Train pointing out, and I think H3 even agreeing that Aiden's case is, in terms of morally bad, Aiden's case is somehow worse because he's blatantly playing with fake money. Whereas XQC and Train apparently putting in their own money, so it's a bit less misleading. I'm so sorry. And
less messed up.
Yeah, less messed up. Still morally bad. And then, of course, you have Train arguing his transparency, how he's very, very open with his audience, despite though he came forward and said he's been paid $1 million a month. XQC is one who's already stopped gambling, so he came on there to kind of lightly defend Train while also being against what Train is currently doing. If you guys watch the full hour and a half, you know just how confusing it is.
It's like 2.5. It's so long. I saw XQC a clip today, actually, of him even further going on his own stream saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I ever gambled on stream. It was a bad choice. I wish I'd never done it. I wish I could take it back if I could. I just want there to be a separation between me and some of these other gambling streamers. And just that's kind of his whole point in going on the podcast, not podcast, sorry, I'm used to H3 being a podcast, but going on the show to say, yeah, I'm not like them, I stopped. And Train's whole point of, yeah, I'm not like the other ones either. I've always done this, and I use my own money, which they all, like, all that has its own problems to begin with. But it's just getting so heated. I don't know.
I don't even know if I want to share a stance because, you know, I say Aiden Ross in terms of morally bad. His is a very, very difficult case because it's just fake balance. So at that point, even Train goes on to say how he's just defending a play balance. So you have a play balance, but you're being paid on the side. So you just kind of try and keep your play balance alive as long as possible. And it's very, very different from how Train did it. But even then, Train is still being paid to gamble. Despite him putting that $1 million back into the site, you're still promoting gambling. I think a lot of people fall on the ultimate end that no matter what, it's still bad. Yeah. It's morally bad. It's potentially illegal. And I think that all three of these cases, Aiden, Train, and XQC, are very different. Because XQC did stop, so I can't fault him there. He did stop.
I'll say my final point, and this is kind of how I ended my main video on it too, is that it's so weird that Twitch is not involved in this conversation. Oh my God, in any capacity. I know we are falling apart. It's just strange that these are streamers having this conversation without Twitch involved. They're arguing about the ethics of it, the morality. Is it okay? Is it legal? And Twitch is just like watching, like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Like trying to
Yes.
decide. I don't know if they're ever going to make a decision or a statement, but I feel like it's getting to the point where they're going to have to.
I mean, if anything, if you want to blame someone, blame Twitch.
Yeah.
Somehow during the CSGO days, this erupted, right? And there was a lot of bad things that came out of it. And Twitch actually did respond, limiting streamers to how much they could actually gamble on stream. And then all of a sudden that goes away. Pretty much it dies off to a huge degree. It comes back with all of these online casinos. And Twitch is like, yeah, we'll just... we'll wait this one out. You know, we've
Right.
already been through this before. We know what we should be doing, but we're just not going to do anything here. To me, that is this. It makes
It's crazy.
no sense. I will end it on the. I keep on having this thought, and it might not be the right one. But if you're Aiden and you're still so young, he does a lot of stupid stuff. Let's get that out. A lot of stupid stuff. He said he doesn't want to re-sign this gambling contract with FaZe Banks and the boys. Who knows if that's going to be true or not? That's a lot of freaking money. So at the end of the day, if you're offered $2 million a month and you're that age, I cannot honestly tell you that I would be able to resist that much money for what seems to be very, very little consequences for them personally. And it seems like, yes, part of your audience is going to suffer. Does that outweigh the benefit you're getting? A lot of them have decided, no, certainly not. And again, we're not saying your side is right or wrong. Same with ours. There are so many angles coming into this. I'm just saying, I think general sentiment, I would say that a lot of people agree it's morally bad. But at the end of the day, you're on Twitch's platform. Twitch has to step up and do something.
Agreed. I think I'll leave it at that. I think at the end of the day, Twitch is going to have to decide. These streamers, I can't really hold at fault because it's a lot of money. You can do a lot with $2 million a month. You know, you could buy houses for
You can set up your family. You can set up your friends.
And so how can you blame them? But difficult when you're advertising gambling to a bunch of kids.
Yes, it's still a huge moral dilemma that some of them have obviously put up with for the cash.
Yeah.
What do y'all think? Obviously a huge ongoing issue. We'll see if Twitch finally does something about it. Yeah.
So switching over to some esports now, this was an event that we personally, Jake and I, were so excited to watch. Probably the most fun I've had watching an esports event in quite a long time, if I'm being honest. And that was an old school RuneScape tournament.
As a battle royale.
As a battle royale, of all things. Like what you would definitely not think of, at least personally, for old school RuneScape. What were your face value thoughts about this?
And this was actually led by, I call him EVscape. Do some people call him Evscape? Dude,
think so.
We were texting about this, and we just said esports, and if there's not diehard RuneScape viewers watching right now, we're going to be roasted.
I know.
We're OG RuneScape fans. I love the game, and during this this Twitch stream for a Battle Royale event, which they put on, I believe, every year. This is the third one, I want to say. I think 10K on the line, plus some bonuses here and there. It was amazing, dude. Especially taking you back to have the fact that RuneScape is an MMORPG, to see it played out as a battle royale. And yes, you have dead man mode and other events being put on. To me, it was just like, this game, if it was still in its like peak, the things you could do in modern day with these kind of adaptations. So to see it in a battle royale where you have these duos just facing off again across the map, I couldn't stop watching.
And the production was pretty
so
good too.
good, dude.
I don't remember who was with him. We had Evscape and another guy commentating this and talking about the whole thing throughout. They had like a map where you could see the players with their cards. They talk about them beforehand and the different players, the different teams. The basic format more or less was, I don't remember how many teams were in a match, but they had an amateur one the day before, then they had a veteran one. The team who won the amateur one goes into the veteran one as well. And then these teams all start in different parts of the world, and I think they start with max stats or whatever. And then at the end of a certain time limit, they have to get into a certain circle and face off against each other. But of course, you can skull, run into each other, and kill each other, and it's teams of 2.
And as you run across the world, you know, where you choose, as in a battle royale, you choose places with better loot or better things that you are going for. So these guys and gals would literally plan out their entire strats, where they're dropping, what they're doing first, where they're going first to try and get the best weapons and gear by the last zone. So slowly over time, the zone pushes you all to one final area where all the duos, if there are some still left, they do compete. You see huge names. The biggest I would say for myself personally is someone like Bodhi was, of course, there alongside Torvesta. You got Pure, you got Mission, you got the hardest names to pronounce in Skidler and Dittler, which is like the best thing ever to hear commentators have to say it time and time
Especially
again.
British ones. So great.
You had a couple gals in there as well who made their way from the amateur event. I'm so bad with names when it comes to...
They were in like the top 3 at the end too.
And so they all get pushed to one final area. I would say the end area is definitely something to work on for a battle royale for RuneScape.
Yeah.
But to see a game adapt, I mean, you have old school RuneScape, you have RuneScape 3, obviously a current split, worst split ever, it sucks. But to see a game adapt to Deadman mode and to somehow hop into esports this far after, I mean, I love it. It's not going to be a hugely viewed event, but I hope other games can somehow adapt a Battle Royale style with this same, like even if CSGO can use their Battle Royale and this kind of, I mean, these guys were dipping into comms, Discord comms. You could hear them, the players personally strategizing. It was amazing.
And this, like you said, as far as viewership, this got almost right up to 10K viewers, which was incredible. I was so excited to see that the stream itself was doing well. But like you said, I think my favorite part was anytime they went into the comms of another team, because they would just go into like a Discord call and hop in and just listen in on whatever was happening. And they got some really good, really hilarious moments out of that I would love to see. I don't know what capacity that could be used in other esports, but it was so funny.
It was very, very unfiltered. We'll say that. At one point, they listen into a team and they're talking about sucking dicks. You can imagine if this was a mainstream esport, maybe it wouldn't slide, but wouldn't you love to hear your favorite pro or streamer like saying some just not bad stuff, but it's just like kind of funny
just
humor.
Cutting it up.
Yeah, just really. But either way, a RuneScape Battle Royale, I'll be watching it next year. Hopefully more events to come in the future. And I love seeing a game that initially was never meant to be one, all of a sudden being adapted to Battle Royale esports.
Yeah, I'll just say it's cool that it has had such longevity from when we were wee little youngins to now. There's still people, still the big names that we loved growing up are playing this and still playing it and finding new ways to kind of breathe life into the game and make it exciting. Have 10K viewers on old school RuneScape for an esports Battle Royale. Words I never thought I'd say. A bit more of an informal story, something that we kind of just talked about in the office, but I wanted to bring it to the podcast, and that is Ninja. Ninja was streaming recently. Of course, he streams with every icon stream. Bugha gets his icon skin finally. So TheGrefg, Ninja, and Bugha are all streaming Fortnite, something that sounds massive, right, from an outside perspective. We tune into Ninja's stream, and the chat's not even moving. It's not moving at all. It's super slow. Viewership is pretty low. What are your thoughts about this? We talked about this a lot in the office of just speculating. Do you think Ninja cares about this? Do you think it's a big deal? Does it signal anything? What's going on?
There's a lot to this one, and I don't think anyone's covering it because it's just a little side talking point. I wanted to say it for the podcast because we tuned in. We love watching these debuts of all of these lucky features. You know, someone like Bugha, the most recent to get his skin in the game of Fortnite. Ninja also having one. TheGrefg, I believe, also having one. So good for those guys to make some money. It is very interesting to see Ninja. Comes back and plays Fortnite every once in a while. But we did tune in, and it was sub only mode, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a Ninja fanboy. I love Ninja. We know that in the office, and the chat was just barely even there. It was weird to see. I feel like he got more interaction when he plays Final Fantasy, whatever.
Yeah, and it was kind of sad is the word that pops into my head because thinking about the glory days of Ninja playing Fortnite.
I know I cut you off sometimes, but the peak Ninja had over 200,000 subscribers. His chat was never not moving. Yeah. To now go back to a couple years later, and it's just
you see the mods talking to each other like you do in a small channel, and so it was weird. And to see him, I didn't watch the whole time, so maybe he had different energy levels. But when we tuned in, he didn't seem to be having a whole lot of fun either necessarily when he was streaming that. And soon after, like you said, switched over to Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I think for me because in recent times, he has stepped away from Valorant, which I really enjoyed seeing him in.
Yeah.
And he actually got decent viewership in. And then he was on the League of Legends grind, which I think he's been on a little bit less of that as of late as well. And even both those, he was getting less viewership than he had before with Fortnite and during his peak, obviously. I don't know how someone like Ninja takes that. And this is not us going after him, but I am genuinely curious after you have such a big payday that was following such a big peak. And he's still getting great deals. I'm sure his merch line, all of his deals are still doing great things. But I just have to wonder what it feels like to be that far up, to be that in the limelight, to go from 2 to 3 years later to having not that. He's clearly playing the games he enjoys, though.
Yeah.
So I am just genuinely curious, does he care or does it affect him?
I was going to say, personally, I would bet that actually I'm not betting anything because I don't have anything to bet, but personally I would bet that he is probably really enjoying this. I think that massive amount of fame, obviously we've covered this a lot before, has also given him a lot of toxicity in his chat. People come after him in mainstream media all the time and hate on him for this, that, and the other. And I bet now he's just kind of coasting. He's playing the games he wants to play. He's cashing in on that, all those brand deals he had and all that big money he got maybe from Mixer. He's invested it in different places, invested it into different ventures. And I think he's just riding it out, gets his friends to send him their merch when they release it. Yeah. Just chilling. And I think he probably deserves that by this point.
I'll play the opposite. I think he does deserve it. I think he's probably been a huge wake up to like, all right, you made it, man. Like you are going to go down in history of gamers.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, you will be in that history book. And it's going to be hard for someone to even beat the peak that you reached, especially for the time that you did. But I feel like for me personally, and I can't speak from his shoes because I'm never going to be in them, right? But I feel like for me personally, mental health wise, definitely been a struggle for a lot of people during this pandemic. I feel like that would hurt me to be that, to being this, back down to normal life. I feel like for me, I'd be wanting to, how do I get that back? You know, what's my next move? Is it going to be Valorant? Okay, that didn't work out. Is it going to be League of Legends? No.
Right.
So I'm sure it's both. I'm sure it's a little bit of both, but it's very interesting to see because at this point, it just makes you wonder what is next. It seems like he's searching for that game that could possibly be he is back, and I think he'll see highs for the rest of his career. Halo, when it comes back.
I was going to say treading water until Halo comes back.
Yeah, and then go back to Final Fantasy. Go back to games he enjoys. He'll see those highs. Go back to what he enjoys.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to do much else other than that, but I am really curious at what point does he want to get back and stay back? Does he ever want to do that again? But besides that, he's doing great things. He's making money. There's nothing to feel bad about. I'm sure he's really enjoying his time streaming no matter what. So what do y'all think about Ninja? Maybe a bit of a down spell as of late, but how does he feel about it? We have no idea. What do you guys think the future of Ninja is going to be? As per usual, hope you guys all enjoy the frick me.
Yeah, thanks.
As per usual, I hope you guys all enjoy the Esports Rewind podcast, same time, same day, every single week. Let's tell these fine folks goodbye, why don't we?
Fine folks, goodbye.
Fine folks, goodbye.